Hi guys, so if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, then you guys must be knowing that I had gone to Ladakh almost 1 month back, and I got pretty sick after coming back from the trip to Kolkata. And I had a lot of pending works which I had to finish it as soon as possible. So I was not getting any time to, edit this vlog. But finally, from the last 1 week, I've been editing the vlog and it's live now. First of all, a very, very big shout out to Trilopedia for organizing such a perfect trip. The accommodation, the food, the traveling, the car, everything, and even the people out there at Leh, their representatives were really, really nice, and everything was really, really good. So thank you so much for Trilopedia. I'll be linking down their website and the package trip which we went for, so you can check that out. Now before I begin with the vlog, I just want to put out certain informations and facts which will help you guys out if you're planning a trip to Ladakh. But if you guys want to skip over this information, then you can just move to this number of minutes and start the vlog. Start doing some physical activities 10 to 15 days before your trip begins, because that will prepare your body in acclimatizing under low oxygen levels. There are two ways of traveling to Ladakh. One is of course by road, and it starts from Delhi which will end at Srinagar, and if you want to start from Srinagar, then that also works. But the road journey can be a bit difficult because you'll have to do camping throughout the road until you reach Leh, because Leh is the only place where you'll find proper accommodations and hotels. But before that, you'll have to do camping. And if you're someone who's very adventurous and want to see the beauty of the road and do the sightseeing, because I've heard that the roads are very, very beautiful, then you should definitely go for road trips. And the second way of traveling to Leh is by flight, which we did. So we took a flight from Delhi and landed at the Leh airport, and that's when our trip began. Now, a lot of you would be wanting to experience Ladakh on a bike, but I would suggest to just rent a bike for a day or two to just do local sightseeing inside Leh. Like you can go to Shanti Stupa or Leh Palace and enjoy the bike trip. And the bikes are very, very easily available out there. After every 2 to 3 shops, you'll find a place who can rent you a bike, and you can take the bike for half a day, for full day, for 2 days. It totally depends on you. Now if you're planning to go to Leh via flight, then you have to remember that the first day needs to be dedicated completely towards resting and acclimatizing, because as soon as you land at Leh, after 1 or 2 hours you'll start feeling a headache or certain kind of dizziness, and it's kind of a weird feeling that you get. And the best thing to do at that point of time is to just rest and sleep it off, and do not go out anywhere that day because you require the rest. And it's very normal to feel this way. Almost everyone is going to feel this. And drink lots of water, because that is going to be a major source of oxygen for your body. Now, because of the high altitude, the intensity of UV rays is a lot out there. So, make sure that you're always wearing a sunscreen and using a protective sunglasses. Ladakh is a very secluded place, and the only source of water you can get is from the glacier. But because of such heavy tourism, water is being transported from outside to accommodate all the travelers. So it is my advice to just avoid wasting even a drop of water. Actually, you should not be wasting water anywhere, but it becomes really, really important in Ladakh to save water, to conserve water, and do not waste water, even the drinking water as well, especially when you're traveling to Nubra and Pangong. At Nubra and Pangong, you're going to have water scarcity. You might not get water, you might get limited water. So, just be prepared for that. Weather out there can change within 5 minutes. Like it will be cold, and after 5 minutes, it can get hot. So, it is advisable to, wear lots of layers so that you can just, wear them or remove them as the weather keeps changing. Don't do any activity which might require your body a lot of oxygen, like running or walking really fast. Do everything really, really slow so that you do not get that oxygen pressure and you'll not start getting headache. I did this mistake at Khardungla. I started walking really fast and that caused me a headache and I started having breathing issues. So, just be careful, especially at Khardungla Pass and Changla Pass. You might have breathing issues. So, be very careful. You'll obviously be traveling to Nubra Valley and Pangong Lake, and these two places are a no network zone. No matter what service provider you use, you won't have any network. So don't worry about that. As soon as you leave from Pangong or Nubra, you'll start having a network. But at these two places, you won't have a network. So yeah, that was the information I wanted to put across, and let's just get started with the vlog. Flight from Delhi, and don't forget to take the window seat because the view is really beautiful. On arrival, we obviously felt really chilly, but after resting and acclimatizing almost the entire day, the weather felt really pleasant. So in the evening, we decided to visit the local Leh market, and as the city is, the local Leh market is also really beautiful. In the market, you can check some of the tribal jewelries and the endless variety of dry fruits, and there's also this cute monastery within the market, so do check that out as well. Destination for day 2 was the famous Leh Palace. It has 9 floors and the palace is visible from the Leh market itself. At the entrance, there are these galleries which showcase the richest collections of jewelries of that time, and there are paintings which date back to almost 450 years. The topmost floor provides a beautiful panoramic view of the entire Leh city. So do check that out as well. Our next stop was Shanti Stupa, and it is situated on a hilltop, because of which it gives a beautiful panoramic and kind of a bird's eye view of the Leh city. The stupa also has a meditation room where you can relax and feel good. We spent the entire evening at Shanti Stupa admiring the beautiful view, and then we went back to our hotels. Our day began early today and our first stop was Hall of Fame. This is a museum constructed by the Indian Army in memory of the soldiers who gave up their life in Kargil War. The museum showcases weapons, accommodations and even the apparels that was used by the army during the Kargil War. The museum also has a souvenir shop, and it has a small corner where you can write notes for the Indian Army, and then these notes are sent across to them. So this is a really nice gesture that we can do for the soldiers. Our next stop was Gurudwara Pathar Sahib, but photography was prohibited here, so I don't have any footage of this place. We finally arrived hike to the famous magnetic hill. This place, I'm sure, must be in your bucket list. And if it's not, let me tell you why this place is so famous. It has been observed that when a car is parked in neutral gear on the road, it slides itself uphill. So this is something which everyone wants to see, and it cannot be captured on camera. So you actually have to go to that place and witness it. One can indulge into ATV rides here, and they cost 1200 rupees for 1 kilometer. Our next stop was confluence of Zanskar and Indus, which is more famously known as Sangam. Here you can obviously see these two rivers meeting, but they are still distinguished from each other, and you can easily make out which river is which one. This place is a nature's wonder, and you don't get to see such a place every day. Next day, we had to check out from our hotels and leave for Nubra Valley. It is a 4 to 5 hour journey, so make sure that you leave early and have ample of time in hand. There are some beautiful viewpoints on the road, and so we stopped at one of them and clicked a few pictures. After a while, we started seeing snow, and that's when we reached Khardungla Pass. At 18,380 feet, it is the world's highest motorable road. Here you might have slight breathing issues, so be careful, and it is advised not to stay here more than 8 to 15 minutes. I could not take much footage of this place because I started having breathing issues, and so others were enjoying the view, but I had to sit in the car. We finally reached Nubra Valley, which was really hot. So in a day we had to experience snow, and now we had to experience summer as well. After resting for a while, we decided to go to Hunter Sand Dunes. Here you can enjoy double humped camel rides. A bit crowded, but the view is so stunning that you don't mind the crowd, and the surrounding mountains reminded me of a Shah Rukh Khan song. Comment down below if it also reminded you of a Bollywood song. Camps at Nubra were really comfortable, and it was so much better than the camps we had in mind, so we had a really comfortable night. First thing we did next morning was to go for an ATV ride on Desert Himalayan Adventure Park. These parks can be spotted just before entering Nubra Valley, and you can enjoy the beautiful view here as well. Because of the sand dunes, it is a very dusty place, so make sure that you cover your mouth and ears if you plan on going for an ATV ride here. This is the same spot where some of the Bhag Milkha Bhag scenes were shot, and if you're a movie buff, you'll enjoy this place totally. ATV rides here cost Rs 1000 for 3 km, which is much cheaper than Magnetic Hill. The experience as well is really good, and if I knew about it, I would have never gone for an ATV ride at Magnetic Hill. After a thrilling ATV ride, we finally left for Pangong Lake. Just before entering Pangong Lake, we spotted this small cute cafe called the Nomadic Cup, and turns out to be the world's second highest coffee house. The place has a variety of coffees to offer, and even if you're not a coffee person, you should definitely try the coffees out here. The coffee house is located at Durbo. It has a lot of cafes and restaurants here, and travelers usually make a stop here before entering Pangong Lake. So if you're traveling to Pangong, this coffee house will be very easy to spot. We finally reached Pangong Lake after the long road journey. The lake is huge and it is really beautiful. The changing colors of the water makes it so much more attractive. The place is really cold and extremely windy, and because of which we had a lot of breathing issues at night. Here were more like a small cute cabins, and it was really comfortable, but yeah, we definitely had breathing issues at night. In the morning the lake is completely empty and you can take some great pictures at this time. So after clicking some really good pictures, we left from this beautiful place and went on our way to lake. Pangong Lake to Leh, you have to pass through Changla Pass at 17,688 feet. It is the world's second highest motorable road. Now, you won't have any breathing issues here when you compare it to Khardungla, but you still have to be careful here not to do any fast activities. And I, for one, was really careful this time and I was able to enjoy this place. After a few minutes, we left for Leh, and I cannot emphasize on how beautiful and smooth the roads were. We reached Leh in the evening and checked into our hotels, and that was that for this day. We finally reached to our last day at Leh, and our first stop for today was Sekmon, or more famously known as Rancho School. This school obviously became famous after the shoot of Three Idiots. Here you can find so many things which will remind you of the movie. However, we were not allowed to enter the actual space where the shooting was done, so that was really disappointing. But still, if you are a movie buff, then you will enjoy this place and you should definitely add this to your Leh trips list. Our next stop was Shea Palace. It is located 15 kilometers away from Leh and it's a beautiful location. This used to be the residence of the royal family and was also the summer capital of Ladakh. Now you have to walk a lot in order to reach the temple, which is located at the top of the palace. On our way to the temple, we saw many of these praying wheels, and upon inquiry, we got to know that spinning them clockwise is considered to be really beneficial. That's why I decided to spin all of them and capture all of it on my camera. These praying wheels can be seen everywhere in Ladakh, even at restaurants and hotels. The Ladakhi people consider them to be really good and lucky, and that's why they keep it near themselves. The temple has a massive Sakyamuni Buddha idol and it is plated with gold and is 7.5 meters in height. Now you can see the vastness of the idol by noticing how small I look in front of it. After climbing so many stairs, we got to see a beautiful panoramic view of the nearby grasslands and villages. Next, we went to Thicse. It is situated 19 kilometers away from Leh and it is in the middle of the Thicse village. This is considered to be one of the largest Gompas in Ladakh and also architecturally the most impressive one. Again, you have to walk a lot and climb too many stairs to reach all the temples here. There are several temples in this Gompa containing images, paintings, and stupas of Buddha. Don't forget to check out the largest statue of Buddha, which is located here in this Gompa. The statue is really beautiful and mesmerizing to look at. Our last destination for the trip was at Stock Village. We had a traditional Ladakhi lunch planned here, and no, it did not just have momos and thukpas. The traditional lunch was really one of a kind and a really new experience for us. Our last day was more of a spiritual experience and we got to know a lot about the Ladakhi culture. A big shout out to Trilopedia for giving us such a beautiful trip and we had an experience of a lifetime. The next day we left for Delhi with tan lines and beautiful memories and of course lots and lots of pictures.